very edge of a dark woods, a little fir tree grew strong and beautiful in the warm sunshine of a summer day. Its dark green needles quivered when the wind touched them and gave forth a happy little sigh, which, like a flower's breath, perfumed the world about with that sweet, spicy odor which one who has smelled it can never forget. Above the little fir towered the old mother, straight into the sky for 100 feet, the pride and beauty of the woodland and roundabout. In spite, however, of its noble mother, of its own lovely form, and the sweet scent of its quivering needles, the little fir was most unhappy. Looking across a little ravine, it could see the heart-shaped leaves of the silver birch, fluttering and dancing in the slightest breeze.
Alas,
Sighed the little fir.
would that I had leaves like the silver birch. See how they spin like spankles in the sun. Oh dear tree mother, I am tired to death of these sharp, thin needles that I wear.
The voice of the little fir reached up to the mother tree, and in a low hum, she answered,
When the winter comes, the birch leaves will be torn away by the angry wind, and the delicate needles will remain more beautiful than ever to remind the world of returning spring.
That's all very well for you to say,
said the little fir.
but I am tired of my needles, and will never be happy until I get leaves like the silver birch.
Now it happened that the great wood spirit was abroad. He heard the complaint of the foolish tree and answered it. In a second, the beautiful green needles had dropped off, and in their place sprouted silvery heart-shaped leaves that danced and spun in the breath of the wind. Hardly had they covered the little tree, however, when a grey goat walked out of the shadowy woods. There was something very, very strange about him, for the tips of his curved horns seemed to have a golden light on them, and his silver hooves left no cloven tracks on the soft, brown pine needle floor. Moreover, he seemed to grin as he shook his long beard and strode up to the tree. Crunch, crunch, went his jaws, and in no time at all, the little fir was stripped of its glorious foliage and stood naked, with all its little brown branches sticking out on all sides like funny little fish bones.
Oh dear,
Wailed the little fir.
this will never do. I must get the leaves that even a hungry goat cannot eat. Oh how I wish I were covered with leaves of pure gold.
Silly child,
Murmured the old tree mother.
gold comes to the woodland in the fall, and then only for a few days. For the greedy old wind steals it all away and piles it in his treasure chests under the roots of the old oaks.
But mine must be real golden leaves that even the greedy wind cannot snatch away.
Said the little fir. Of course, the powerful wood spirit was not far away. In a second, the slender limbs of the fir were sagging under the weight of solid gold leaves. No matter how the wind blew, they hung heavy and dead, but shone with the luster of beaten metal. However, before the little fir could decide whether it liked its new leaves or not, a man strode out of the forest. He was a very, very queer man. He had funny little horns on his head, and his feet, instead of shoes, were the silver hooves of a wild goat. As he walked, he left no tracks on the soft brown pine needle floor. With a shout of joy, the man began picking the leaves and putting them all in a bag, which slung from his shoulders. When he had finished, not a single leaf was left. Once again, the little brown limbs of the fir stuck out on all sides, like funny little fish bones.
Oh dear,
Cried the little fir.
what a dreadful world. I have had my lesson. I was never meant to be anything but what I am.
What is more beautiful than a noble fir?
Murmured the mother tree.
If only I had back my grey needles,
Said the little one.
I would never complain again.
Of course, the wood spirit was still close by. In an instant, the baby fir stood floating again in lovely, sweet-smelling spills, and out of a sack, a queer-looking man emptied a pile of golden leaves into a little hollow beneath a horse briar.
It will be a beautiful, happy world
Murmured the mother tree.
when we all cease from envying our brother and strive instead to make ourselves just as beautiful and as useful as we ourselves can be.
The end.